something.
Sorry.
It really hurts.
At least you were still on time.
Fuck's sakes. Here's the thing about the time zone. I gave up trying to keep track of everybody's, and it's like, you know, you can all like. There's 32 of you across 4 time zones.
Here, let's
And
go
me,
make sure we share it
Right.
out.
So how about you all just remember where I'm at and what time it is here? Because like going back the other way
Time
just
is it
doesn't
there?
work, right?
What time is it there, by the way?
9:04 a.m. Saturday morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you see us walking, we monitor comments off our phone as well. So if you see Brianna on her phone, she's not being rude. She's just monitoring comments.
That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna try to share y'all's stuff on here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your thing. Do your thing. We can
Okay.
sit here and bullshit for a minute. Anybody who's jumping in? Who's jumping in here?
Looks like we got a few people hopping in. Let us know
we
where
do.
you're watching from, where you're watching. Drop some sober dates.
Yeah, absolutely. Give you a shout out.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Matt, it's
Volume down?
how long ago did we record? I was still in Canada, so that was
Oh wow.
Jesus. That was a while back, that you and I did
I
our
was
episode.
still at my buddy's house. Yeah, man. I'd just gotten out of sober living, so quite some
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
No
I'd say
kidding,
6
eh?
months
No
at
kidding.
least.
Yeah, hey. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
I see a bunch of people. I'm going to sound like a broken record for like the first 5 minutes. We got people hopping in like crazy. So if you guys are hopping in, we're on like 4 or 5 different platforms. Please comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Drop some clean and sober dates. And yeah, we'll get started in like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so.
Hello, Blair. Rachel from Addict with a Purpose is in the house. Hey,
What's up,
Rachel.
Rachel?
Love you.
Hey, Blair. Hey, Marie. Marie from California, 12/2/23. Awesome. Awesome.
Matt, what's been the biggest like that you weren't expecting, like the biggest adjustment getting your own place again?
Nobody's watching me.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
I mean, like, so the accountability aspect of things, because I lived in a halfway house for 3 months, and then I've been on parole, so like when I got here, I was like just free and clear. I could do whatever I wanted to do, so
Does it ever feel
yeah.
weird that there's not
No,
other people always around?
yeah, it was an adjustment at first. Now I love it. Now I love every second of it. It's put together how I want it to be. I've always lived with somebody else. I'm 34. This is the first place I've ever had. Yeah, I've always lived with
You know,
like
it's-
my grandma.
I wasn't saying wow to your age. I was saying wow to having your own
POC.
place.
No, she was definitely
Like
saying a
you.
lot of your age.
You don't look like a under 40 to me, Matt. No, right?
She does it to me all the time, man. I just turned 35 and she does it. She calls me old.
Nice.
I gotta say,
We're
Matt,
getting there.
it's funny as I watch your progression on socials, and like when you were posting, this is my first place, because this is my first place in years.
doesn't
On my
really
own. Not
do
my
anything,
like
that's all
ever,
you have to
but
do.
a very long time, right?
Or
Here,
pull
like
it
here in
back.
Krabby, right? And it's just I remember just kind of sharing that moment of pride with you when you posted that. It's like, yeah, right. And then you
Yeah.
get home to a spotless place. Your post there from last week or whenever that was. I'm thinking, fuck, I can so relate to you right now, man. Right? Like it is. And
Sure.
I think to somebody who's never been there and like who's just had like the normal life, how they did all the things. It's like you can't begin to appreciate that sense of, yeah, like every time you put your key in the door for like 6 months, it's like
Yeah.
sweet. Right? There's that little dopamine rush, right?
Best
That we're
feeling ever. Yep.
right,
Just got
right.
if I want in it, everything's decked
Yeah.
out the way I want it to be. It's nice.
My electric bill's paid, right? Like,
Oh yeah. That's all. Yeah, absolutely. All taken care of.
yeah, man. I had a power outage here for like 3 hours the other day, and it was like, I'm not even checking. Like, I know I paid the bill. Like, it's just, I'm adulting. Yeah, right. And the dishes are done. Okay, I don't use dishes. I use plastics. But still, you know what I'm saying, right?
Nice. Nice.
Me and Jared were talking about it yesterday or Wednesday. He was like, "Do you want to turn the TV on?" And I'm like, "Why? Like, I can sit here all day in the house with no TV on. Like, I'm good."
You're a sociopath.
He has no
Sorry, I
idea.
had to fix the lighting in here. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. We
Leave
see
it to him to
people.
ruin the conversation.
Listen, I got to keep everybody on track because, again, like, that's my job. If I don't, we're never gonna get anywhere. So, anyways, let us know where you're watching from. Drop some sobriety dates and Chuck.
Absolutely.
What are we gonna
Yeah.
do for an intro?
Why don't we run the original? We got a hip hop guy in here. I want to get some bounce going on, right? So why don't we run that one? Why don't we do that today? As much as I do love the other one, but
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna roll this and then we in. All right, I go.
What's the best way to spend your Friday night? Engage in conversations that can redefine the way you see the world. Welcome to Blakash Radio, the Friday night live venue where Ash is awesome meets the blacklist head on. No personal anecdotes, just raw, meaningful topics on addiction and recovery, discussed from multiple angles. Join us as we peel back the layers on the issues today live, because the path of understanding starts with a single conversation. This week, joining us is Danny Shannon from Sober Squad, a social media page from Down Under. Danny,
Sorry.
fucking guy. You had one job.
Matt is now Danny Shannon. Regardless, y'all got the gist of the main thing. Remember the first time we did that, Chuck?
Yeah, panic mode. Panic.
He
Right?
was like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta stop it.
Yeah.
This is the right
Yeah.
guest."
I assumed it would be the last time because, well, you have
It's
one
not
job.
in here though. Anyways,
Yeah.
what episode is this? What are we?
7 or 8?
7,
Eight?
8
Something like that.
episodes in of Black Ash Radio. Jesus, it's crazy that we're already in this far from when we first started it.
No kidding, eh? No kidding.
Yeah.
And did you catch the play on the name, Matt or Haley? How we?
Oh,
on
I
Black
certainly
Ash?
did. I like it. I like the.
We went back and forth for like a hot minute. We were like,
Oh yeah, I had
what should we call it?
whole crazy process of
Like our
process of elimination, like a round robin tournament going on, and between these different names, and then Jared's like, yeah, well, Black Ash. I was like, oh, fuck, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, we
So,
had like a list of like 20 something names to go through, and he's like, all right, you pick 8, I'll pick 8, and I'm just like, listen, why don't we just make it simple and just do Black Ash Radio? So
yeah.
anyways,
yeah.
hey Chuck, why don't you do the honors and introduce our guests? Since you have a
Well-
good radio voice,
Huh.
as he's
That's
choking
funny.
right now.
Yeah, you can introduce me with coughs, Chuck. That works for me.
Anyway, all
All of streaming videos up.
right. Well, chivalry being what it is, we'll go to Haley here first. Haley D. Haley is an up and coming content creator. She is linked up with a couple of my favorite platforms out there. Addict with the Purpose, of course, with Rachel,
Yes.
and
Hi,
Through the Glass
girl.
Recovery as well.
Yes.
and Through the Glass Recovery, who I've taken to I just love those guys over there, right? Actually, I think,
They're amazing.
geez, I think my episode with them might be dropping tomorrow. Thinking about it right now. So,
And I'm on there with you, Chuck.
yes, you are so, right? And our other guest doesn't need a lot of introduction, I'm sure, at least in the recovery content world. This is Matt Keegan. He is a hip hop man. Him and I linked up about 6 months ago, I guess it was, right? We did a recording. It's kind of funny how I came across you. Actually, I saw Benjamin Lerner had posted on one of your, some inspiration. You're having a rough time, and I didn't realize who you were at the time, of course, because I'm just a dumb Canadian, and just kind of dropped kind of a similar message of kind of some encouragement to you, and then went, holy shit, who's this guy? And that led me down a rabbit hole of your music, which I do love. Right? So, of course, you've also been on the Blacklist podcasts. I don't sure, has that one aired, Jared?
Oh yeah, a long time
Oh, yeah.
ago. Long time
Oh,
ago.
Okay, well, you never know because he's like 3 years out, right, from recording to air date. So it's
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry that we're that popular. My bad. Jesus. Look, hold on. I gotta. There you go. No.
Devolved. Over 8 episodes, we've devolved to laugh tracks. That is awesome, right?
Listen,
I
Matt.
could've done
remember,
that.
I got this whole pad right here. Well, when you introduced them, I was gonna do the applause.
But you didn't, 'cause
So-
you're still reeling of how you didn't do your one job earlier and maybe should.
Listen, I'm a
Anyway,
human, Chuck. I'm a human.
All right. Hey, comments. Let's get some of these nailed back here right away, right? What's going
There's
on
really
here?
not a whole lot. There's just
No, I guess not, eh?
saying
Okay,
hi.
okay.
That's it.
Okay, guys. Well, here we'll just kind of run through and hit show on those, and
Yeah.
so
Well,
everybody's
this
seeing
is so
the-
Brianna kind of orchestrated this whole episode. So,
Yeah.
do you want to
Yeah.
do the
All right.
honors of kind of introducing the topic because this is your baby?
Well, let me say too. I thank Chuck for
Just finish chewing. Just finish
Okay.
chewing. Just
yeah. I was
please.
trying to finish my sushi real quick.
Okay, yeah.
For like going into depth and explaining it a little bit more earlier. But we're basically just going to sit down and talk about like what is a relapse.
Yeah, right. And
You know,
specifically, what does it mean
Lapse
to you,
versus relapse.
right?
Yeah.
And it,
You know,
you know what?
what is a
I
lapse?
think
What is a
maybe,
relapse? Like, you know, is there a difference
and
in your
what
mind?
makes
You know?
that in this particular episode, um, why I kind of wanted to do it with you, Matt, is you have a great relapse story. Great relapse story.
Yeah.
Your story is
An interesting relapse story.
yeah, and interesting. Yeah, let's go with interesting, right? And I thought you specifically would bring a lot of value to this conversation. And that's really why I wanted to bring you on, right?
Sure.
I'm the one that chose him.
Well, and but also
Sorry?
because me and Matt have the similars.
right,
What
lined
Matt
up, yeah.
considers a relapse is
Well-
something for me, you know. So like this is a great conversation for all of us.
Yeah, it's
It really
it's
is.
a hard,
It really is, right?
a hard tell. It's a hard question. A
Yeah.
hard thing to define.
Oh.
If you're in the
It
comments
is.
too,
And before we really get into it, I posted up earlier when I was advertising this live stream, and I think I kind of found the words that I was looking for on it to say with the very definition of recovery changing now at a pace nobody ever saw before, right? So many different things accepted as recovery and all those things. Along with that goes relapse. So to whereas with one person taking a sip of alcohol or a snort of this or a drag off or a smoke of that for a second might be so devastating, like a devastating loss of all of their clean count time, right? Another person could fuck up for a week, and as long as their life didn't get decimated, they're still going to consider themselves deep in recovery. So and every variation in between, right? The very essence of the word relapse is changing just as fast as the word recovery. Right? So
See, I never really looked at it like that. Like I always heard people say, relapse is a part of recovery, or let's stop saying relapse is a part of.
oh, can't hear you.
Jared turned her off.
Can't hear you. Can anybody else not hear her?
No, her mic's turned off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like a really good one too.
Yeah, she's just going on and on, right? Can't hear a damn thing.
you were muted the whole
Yeah.
time. The whole time you were muted. Hold on, give me a second. I'm changing my camera, but she was muted though.
We can't even hear them.
Run
Give
that
me a
one
second.
back, Brianna. You look like you was completing a thought. Why
Oh,
don't you run it
so much
back
better.
for us?
We were-
Yeah, it was good.
They're over there
That's
talking
good.
to. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, why don't we cycle back to Brianna's thoughts? Okay, are we good now? Are we good? Maybe we'll just stick to it. Yeah.
I feel like she was
I had
going
to,
somewhere with that.
I couldn't hear you guys either.
Oh well, that's clearly our fault. Okay.
I heard
Sorry.
nothing.
That is me learning from past relationships.
I had to
on how
change.
deal with women
I had to
who
change
just,
cameras. I didn't realize our other camera was really crappy, so I had to change it. When I unplugged it, it undid everything.
It took me a moment to realialize you guys were talking to me.
She was talking the whole time, and I didn't realize. And I was like, you're muted, right? Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. We're good though.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Brianna, now that we're good to go, why don't you bring that
Okay.
back? Your thoughts on
So it
and-
was a topic, everyone says like, relapse is a part of recovery. And some people are like, don't normalize relapse as a part of recovery. They're not a part of recovery. And, I seen somebody talking about, do lapses exist? And is there such thing as a lapse as opposed to a relapse in recovery? And it was just, like it got me thinking, and it's definitely something that I love learning. And it's definitely something that I wanted to sit down with other people and just get other insights, because I can have an opinion, but I love hearing other people's because it can persuade me to view it a different way or just have more information about it. So I wanted to sit down with some people and just talk
Yeah.
about it.
So Matt, with that said, and because we've already alluded to your not so recent, but recent, I mean everything's relative experience with that. Why don't you just kind of give us a breakdown how that worked out for you and what happened there to kind of give us some context?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Had about 2 years sober working in AA. So, it was pretty strict recovery in that, you know what I mean? It's pretty black and white in that program. Consume any sort of mind altering substance, it's a relapse. There's extenuating circumstances I'm going to go in about it. And of course, something I really want to get across before I go into this is just what works for me. So this might not work for you. So I'm just sharing what's worked for me and what I do and what has to work for me, because this is what I found out. So went on, I worked AA for 2 years, man. I got on fire for the program, developed this relationship with God. I got really active in, really cultivating that relationship and taking this very seriously. Got the platform under me, started putting out songs, helping people get into treatment, was working for a treatment center, helping people get into rehab all over the country. Moved out of my city into a bigger city, thinking I was going to go perform at all these big clubs and stuff, because I'm this big, amazing rapper now with like a TikTok following, because I'm an egotistical individual when I'm not working a strong program. So I just had this whole fanatical idea in my head that I thought was going to go this way. And when I got there, I didn't do any of it. I didn't go to any open mics. I immediately started isolating, got to a new city, immediately got depressed, didn't make meetings, didn't find a new sponsor. And then I started taking Kratom. Now, a lot of people, that's all great. I'm an extract shots. So for me, it immediately plunged me back into something reminiscent of actual active addiction. I mean, I was spending $60 a day on this stuff, at least. Sometimes I'd spend $100. Like extra money, I'd buy 5 extract shots a day, and I would drink them until I would throw up. And I would know they were going to make me throw up, but well, maybe they won't make me throw up this time, or maybe I'll eat food, or I'll take some Phenergan or some Zofran, or maybe I'll take some anti-nausea medication. And it was just this whole thing, man. So I ended up running myself into this real deep hole. And the way Kratom works is it stays in your system for a really long time. I'm talking, you'll drop dirty for it for weeks. So like when I kept trying to quit on my own, I could not, because of how long the mental sticks with. And of course, I'm running around with this platform telling everybody I'm sober and like making these videos and stuff, and I'm really not. So long story short, I ended up having to come out and tell everybody that I relapsed, and pretty much was like, all right, my career is done. This music's done. The platform's done. I just want to go to rehab and not kill myself. So, and this was from Kratom. Like, a lot of people will clown me for this, but I'm telling you, man, like this took me to a dark, 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 dark place. So when I finally got off everything and got sober again, and I went to another detox, I stayed at a halfway house for like 90 days, and just being off everything again, it just puts me back into that place where like it's a superpower again, man. I'm so focused. I'm able to knock out content like crazy. You know, I could post 4 to 6 times a day across 4 different platforms and not miss. I could do it every single day, you know. And I'm writing new songs. I'm doing stuff with my producer. I'm making meetings. I'm putting God first. I'm doing all these things. And all that stuff has to stay in front of me. Like, I cannot I can't do anything, because if I do it one time, and in my mind, if I got away with it, if my mind says I can go out and I go get high right now, or I have a glass of wine, or just something minute, within a month to 2 3 months, I'll be doing something every single day. Even if it's just like gabapentin, I'll use gabapentin. You know what I mean? Like, I'll abuse sex, I'll abuse food, I'll abuse pop, like energy drinks. I was drinking like 3 energy drinks a day. Like, that's just how my mind is. So for me, like, I have to keep these things and be super aware of this stuff. And it's a black and white thing for me. But let's say on the other side of this, though, just a couple months ago, back in September, I had what I felt like was an appendix bursting. I was at work, serving at Texas Roadhouse. And like, I'm in the middle of a table, and all of a sudden I like drop down, grabbing my back, and like I start pouring sweat. I'm like, oh sweet, my appendix is fucking bursting right now. I'm gonna die. So I get rushed to the hospital, and they have me like pee in a cup, and it's all full of blood. And it turns out I got a nasty kidney stone, and they give me a shot of fentanyl at the hospital.
Oh.
So what am I supposed to do right there? Do I start over my sober date? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe I should have to, and I haven't, because it's not something that I actively sought out. But again, this is where it gets fuzzy. This is where it's like there's so many different, routes about it, because like I said, a lot of people, some hardline people in the AA community would say that's a relapse, and I'm just going to have to respectfully disagree. I was also given a small prescription afterwards, after I had 2 surgeries, because it would not come out. So I had to get 2 separate surgeries. I had I lived with a sober friend. He held the prescription, and he would only give them to me absolutely as prescribed, as needed. And it was only like a prescription of 6 of them. So I can tell you this, though. I was on fire up until that point. And then when that happened, instantly right back to that space of just misery, self-defeating thoughts. And then I almost, like, especially after everything had went so viral, I'm like, I just suddenly have this whole Facebook following now, which was something I always dreamed of having. And it's taken me places and doing things for me. I wanted to give this away. So I could go use and figure out a way to use successfully. That's where that when you talked about that dark place I was at, that's where I was at. So like, the only thing that pulled me out of that was throwing myself head first in the program, making a meeting every single day, surrounding myself with people who are praying, talking to God, have a relationship with God, you know, going to church. I'm not the most consistent with going to church, but I'm doing my best. You know what I mean? Like I'm not perfect in this, but for me, it's just so imperative that I stay absolutely sober, because one substance, it will ruin everything. It will take this away. I'll give this away. So that's kind of where I stand on. That's just me though. You know, I have friends who take Suboxone. They're prescribed Suboxone. They're very successful in their recovery. You know, they take the Suboxone that's prescribed. If you looked at them and had conversations with them, you would never even know that they took it. Like their eyes are never pinned out. Their eyes are always wide, and you know they're clear and they look good. They're healthy. They got weight on them. So it's like, who am I to say what works and what doesn't? Like I said, I know people that take kratom in their recovery. They're not shooting fentanyl anymore. So it's like, what would you rather have? Somebody shooting fentanyl and possibly dying, or be doing some medically assisted treatment to keep them alive? I'm much more bigger fan of people staying alive, you know, but you know, I just know
100%, man.
for me. And so when I put out my content and I create my videos, it's just a disclaimer. This is how I got sober. This is what my recovery has given me. If you want what I have, then try what I am trying. In no way do I ever say only what I do works and the rest of you are degenerates. Never said that fucking ever one time. So.
Because you get shit on a lot for that very reason. I remember you called me about that video that had like 4 million views on the kratom, and you and I have had this conversation multiple times. Like, okay, I take kratom every day, and I've been on it 5 years in my recovery, and it's hasn't led me to anything else. That is me personally. This is your personal recovery. So, and that's the thing. Like we all do. I'm not out there snorting fent and doing this and doing that. But again, like you said, you can't do anything because it's going to lead you to X, Y, and Z right off the jump. So that's the thing. People got to get over this whole thing of, oh, well, he says it's a relapse for him and he's assuming it's for everybody, you know, and he takes kratom and it's just like, dude, like it's 2024. There's more than one way to recover. Okay. You got the old timers that are like abstinent. Then you got the MATs, then you got the cannabis. There's so many different things. And that's why we try to do this, to bring the awareness, to change the mentality on everything.
That same argument will be used against, and it's so ironic. They'll say, well, it's 2024. People recover differently. No shit. I recover differently than you.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Jared
all.
and I had that exact
This is how I do it.
conversation. Yeah, right.
This is my flavor.
It just as much as you want people to respect and I'll use quotes when I say alternate methods of recovery, right? And I hate that you even have to say alternate.
I know you hate it.
Anyway, right? But if the people on, let's say, in that vernacular want those recovery methods to be respected, that's a two-way fucking street.
Yep.
Right? So
Absolutely.
how about you give as much respect as you're asking for back to the people who abstinence is the path, right? And for me, it's just like, how can you not see how does this have to go to war all the time? Why can't you just respect, just do the thing you're asking for? Could we just do that, please? Right?
I think it's when people come in here who don't practice certain principles, you know, that just want to attack other people. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Sometimes that's what people do, and it's whatever.
Chuck, will you read this comment? And I want to respond to it because I do have a personal experience with this recently.
All right. Ange Gregory says there's people in AA that are even against mental health meds and have literally said, well, at least they died sober.
No.
That's disgusting.
That's
absolutely.
When people kill
Bullshit.
themselves because they were told to get off them in AA, it's awful. Not everyone's journey is the same. And you said it right. Disgusting. I really I read that and just had to.
Yeah.
That made my stomach
what a
curl.
horrible statement, right? You know?
Sure.
That person's a horrible human being.
Yeah.
Well, like she's not saying that personally, you know. Like
No,
she's
yeah,
saying
not
that-
you.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Thank you for your comment,
not
Ange.
you.
Nobody's calling you.
Yeah,
And
of course.
it wasn't to you, Ange.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah,
all for you. We're team Ange.
Every institution is bound to have bad actors in it. I can tell you, I'm part of a very thriving community in a very small town, and never have I ever heard of anything. They're the most welcoming, non-judgmental, and they take people who take subs, methadone, like, and it's AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what I mean? If there's people out there like that, I would just say, if there's a room full of people like that, avoid those fucking rooms. There's other ones to go to, you know?
Yeah.
There's
well,
some
that
people that'll
is-
throw
There are people like that. There are people that do say that. That
There's
is a
some
thing. But
people that'll throw a book at you, and there's other ones that'll open their arms for you.
So, what were you
Yeah.
going to say in
Right.
regards to that
I like
comment?
that.
So I wasn't going to talk about what happened recently about
No.
my meds, but so I take medicine twice a day. I take the same medicine 2 times a day also, and then I take another med during the day. And I was kind of worried when I first went on it. I turned suicidal this past summer. I had to go on mood stabilizers to kind of help with stuff, and it's helped tremendously. But I was worried at first, and I did bring it up to my doctor because the drug is in the same class as gabapentin. And like Matt said before, I'll do the same thing. I will abuse the fuck out of it. So we did low and slow, and I admitted that to her. I'm like, listen, like, I need accountability with this because I know there is a chance that it can be abused, and I don't want to get to that point. I want to take this how it's supposed to be taken.
See, that's not a relapse. It's
Well,
just
no,
not.
well, so
No.
here's the thing. I forgot that I took my meds one day, and I took them again.
Oh.
And I had to leave work and come home because I was pin pupils. I was high out of my mind. I could barely walk. Like, I was high out of my mind for double dosing myself within 45 minutes. Did I do it on purpose? No.
No.
But it also scared me because I thought about that for a couple days. Like, oh, that's how you felt. Like, that's
Okay.
how you used to like feeling. And here I was, almost a year on these meds, and I had to talk myself back off the ledge. So I get
So
it.
is that a relapse for you?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yep.
just like Suboxone, everything can be abused. I abuse my mental health meds, and they're not even a narcotic or anything like that.
Yeah. Right.
And it's just doing that. As soon as those feelings hit me, I felt like shit. I was like, Brianna, what did you do? I felt like jello. I was floating around work, and I walked up to my boss, and I was like, I need to leave.
No kidding, eh?
And it was just it was hard going through those feelings again, feeling that way.
Hayley, and that's a great perspective. We got to get Hayley involved in the
Yep.
conversation here.
Uh,
I know nothing of your history with really about your. I don't know. All I know is that you and I are pretty close in clean time, right? What we call
clean
our,
time. Yeah.
our recovery.
Yeah.
right?
380 days. Yeah. I just had
Okay,
my
yeah,
1
so
year.
I'm
Oh,
just a little bit past you. Yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
so that was
See some clean
January
dates in the
11th.
comments too, guys. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, drop clean dates in the comments.
Okay, well, for me, my sobriety day is the day I died, literally died.
Mm.
So I never got a chance for rehab. There was bottled to death for Hayley. That's Hayley's experience. I never had a chance to ask for help, never had 24 hours, never had any of that, right? So my experience with sobriety has been so different. With that being said, I love everything about every aspect of recovery because everyone recovers differently. Because I can't say that I would go to AA meetings 24/7 because I didn't have to. Because the fact is, my liver's dead. I'm waiting for a transplant. So for me, a relapse isn't in my brain. Like it's not in a thought process. So what I have, obviously, like God literally rewired my brain those 17 minutes, and I came back and I knew I had a purpose, and here's my purpose, and that is to spread hope to people that were like me because I was a closet drinker for the very majority of it, and I just never could ask for help. I could have every resource, every resource available to me, and I could not ask for help because I was so ashamed. And I wanted to, as soon as I got out of the hospital, I was like, you know what? There's no one I didn't know in this town. Munford, Tennessee is where I live, which is not Nashville, but I'm from Nashville. But there was no one recovering out loud. I knew that everyone around me was drunk or on something, but I was like, where do they go to AAs? Like, what do they do? So I got internet and I was like, I'm going to recover out loud. And I found a couple of really great influencers and I was like, this is what I need to do. So I got out there in public and I just started making it known. I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm like, no, I'm a filthy alcoholic is what I always would say. I'm like, what happened to you for a month? Well, I was a fucking drunk and I died. Okay, here I am. I'm here to tell y'all, like, don't do that. Like, basically,
Here I am.
even told, here I am. I even told the lady at the liquor store, Libby, she might be watching. She's one of my biggest supporters. I told her, I said, if you ever see me in here, you just put my face over here. Hayley's not allowed in this like establishment. So with that being said, I have not relapsed, but so for me, I would consider very black and white for me. It's all or nothing, right? If I did, I die. I mean, if alcohol, I cook, I bake, I won't touch alcohol. I won't have anything near my skin. I even ask like if pretzels have beer in it, because that's how my mind is like, so if I have a drop of alcohol, I'm going to die, you know? That's in my brain.
That right there, that is a perfect example of why the term can mean so many different things to so many different people. Right.
But,
so for somebody that does have a one-day slip or a sip or whatever, if they take the mentality that keeps you alive, the shame and guilt might keep them in that
that's what I was going to say.
That's why, right?
Yeah. So that's why I love all platforms. I mean, that's how I love every way. There's a different way. Everyone gets sober, stays sober a different way. So maybe a sip of wine is not detrimental to somebody. You had an accidental like drink of, let's say you ordered a non-alcoholic, actually give you one that has in there. You didn't go in there with the intention of drinking alcohol. And so I wouldn't take your sobriety date all the way away. Just like when Matt said, when he went to the hospital, that's a serious thing. I mean, those kidney stones for a male to pass, that's like having a baby, Matt. So,
and I just think that's crazy. Like they shot you with the fentanyl, you didn't ask for it and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Some people to consider that a relapse.
That's not. He had no choice. He didn't have a choice. And I did find out. I had never taken any drug apparently ever in my life until just alcohol. I never even had a beer and I died. It was just me and vodka. My homegirl vodka. But anyways, in the hospital, they had given me fentanyl because I had died. They were just trying this as fast as they could to every time a varice would open, another one popped. So I was just losing blood everywhere, just gone. And I was like, well, I didn't know that until like a month ago. I was like, oh, I've done fentanyl now. Like I didn't know. You know, you're in surgery. You don't actually know.
Rite of passage. Yeah.
Hey, really quick.
Yeah, no, I think so, Chuck.
I need 2 seconds. He's not on my thing, but Port Trillo just had said if even if he wasn't sober, if he could be here to listen. I just want to say absolutely everybody's welcome. He can't see my comment. He can't see my comment, so I can't respond to him. But I just needed to get it out there so he can hear. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off. I want him to think that we were cutting.
Whatever your state of mind is, right? I mean, it's easy to get people that are in recovery to listen. It's easy to get their loved ones to listen. But it's the people that are still in it. If you're listening, I am. Wow. Right. I hope that we can get to more of you because hey, we all know when you're in it, you're not really taking the time most times, right?
Yeah. And I just want to tell women a fun fact real quick.
Yeah.
If you've had a child and you had an epidural, you have had fentanyl.
Oh,
there you go.
Didn't know that, Brianna.
There's fentanyl in epidurals.
Well,
but that's not a relapse.
There's
no, not at all. I'm just saying, like, some people are like, no, I won't touch that. Well, you've had it. You've unknowingly
but there could be people that are in here and like, you wouldn't know.
Matt, whatever you're about to say, I got to get you to put that on hold. Well, Jared runs our PSA because we are 33 minutes into this and we still haven't done that.
See, I am talking about keeping you guys on track, and I'm the one that forgot about it. Matt, and then we'll get to you as soon as we get back in. Don't worry, I'm running the right video.
All right.
Okay. All right.
The following PSA is brought to you by The Phoenix. The Phoenix is not just a gym, it's a community where the real weight lifted is not just barbells, but hearts, minds, and spirits. Whether you're in recovery or simply choose to live a sober lifestyle, The Phoenix offers a range of activities from yoga to hiking, all led by people who've walked the path of transformation. So why not aim higher with The Phoenix? The first membership requirement is just 48 hours of sobriety. Rise from the ashes and soar with The Phoenix today. Do you know about naloxone, otherwise known as Narcan? This life-saving medication can reverse an opioid overdose in minutes. You might think, I don't need it, I'm not around opioids. But the truth is, you never know when you'll be in a situation where you could save a life. It's easy to use, and in many places offer it for free or at a low cost. So let's be prepared and look out for each other. Remember, you might not plan on being around opioid use, but you never know when it will be around you, and you could save the life of somebody that loves and is loved. I'm Chuck LaFlange with the Ashes to Awesome podcast, and remember, you are loved.
All right,
Yeah, so
Matt, what were you going to say?
Fentanyl is like a boogeyman word now, when we say that, because there's street fentanyl and then there's, hospital fentanyl. And I think there's a vast difference between the two. Under some circumstances, hospital fentanyl going to kill you. It's just a whole different ballpark when this word is said, So I think that, there's a lot of stigma behind it now just because of what it's done, and rightly so.
That's true.
I could totally understand. So,
And I just wanted
That's
to
one of
put that
the-
out there too, because there's women that are in recovery that go to have babies and they say no to the pain meds afterwards.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can get epidurals that don't have
Mhm.
fentanyl in them. But that is something that you need to discuss with your doctor and have
That's a great
prepared
point.
because, if you go in for an emergency C-section or, certain things, they cannot give you the epidural without fentanyl in it. But if it's something
Right.
that you do not want and you want to stay away from, please talk to your doctor and make them aware of this so you can make
Yeah.
the plans and have that time, to have, that other epidural and give it the time to work and stuff like that.
of course.
Because you'll
course.
feel it.
Awesome. I didn't know
you know?
that. I'm glad you said that because I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Not that I'm
I
having
didn't
kids,
know that.
but yeah.
I didn't know that till
Yeah,
about
I'm
2
glad
years ago, and then I looked it
there's
up,
tons
and
of
there
women
are.
that don't. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah,
And
we,
you think you're doing the right thing because you're like, no, I don't want the pain meds after. I'll deal with it, but they don't realize that those epidurals also have pain meds in them.
Right.
You want to get
Thank
to
you
some
for that.
comments, Chuck?
Yeah, we
we have a
probably
lot.
should.
We have
We have a
lot.
lot of people jumping in here. Yeah, we do. Hey?
Oh, we got
Yeah.
37
Um,
people watching right now. We have a
You know
lot
what?
of
I'll
comments.
let you manage the comments. How about we do that? I do want to speak to some quick things on
Yeah.
relapse myself
Go for it.
from my own experience, but I do want to get the comments done because that is important. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And likewise too.
Do you want to speak on it or do you want to do comments?
No,
You do
I want
comments.
Chuck. No, Chuck can talk while we're doing
That's why I'm
comments.
asking.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. Yeah, you can post comments while I'm talking. Yeah, I do it to you guys all the time. So yeah.
You,
Hey, Phil.
you do.
Yeah.
I know. Mike, 21 days in the first 6 days, I thought I was going to die. Keep going,
Oh.
Mike. One day at a
Keep
time.
going,
There-
Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
There's a
Better,
comment
man.
here that
Days
kind
is
of
good. 21 days, yeah.
there's a comment in
Yeah.
here that kind of goes off of what Haley said before. I
First
just couldn't
weeks,
scroll
boy.
up and find it before.
Them first 3 weeks are heavy.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? That first day is as hard as the first week, as hard as the first month, as hard as the first year, right? Like whatever
least
your
they
clean
made
time
it.
is really fucking significant, right? Sorry, I could stop potty mouthing.
Curtis M, 14 days
14
Cali
days.
sober. If it wasn't for weed, I would have never gotten through detox off of blues.
Love it.
I commend you
Yep.
because blues was my
Yeah.
thing. Blues was my
Mhm.
thing. I absolutely
Good
love
for you,
it.
bro. Congratulations, man.
Awesome.
And here's
Keep
another
doing it.
thing. I'm sure everybody that's
Thankfully,
here
you're
on the
alive.
screen, everybody here that's on the screen will support you, even though
Yep.
that's not the route that
Absolutely.
we took. We are still proud of you.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Yep.
There's a comment that's long, and
The-
it kind of feeds off what Haley said earlier.
Let me find it really quick. Which one is
It
it?
starts off like I went to a wedding.
Jeez. Oh, this one right here?
There's a lot of
Yeah.
comments here, guys.
Right,
I'm
here
sorry
it
that
is,
we
yeah.
haven't done a great job of managing these. Yeah, that was their job.
We were kind of stuck.
Okay.
Somebody read
David
that.
Spencer.
All right.
You want me to
David
split
Spencer
and read it?
says,
Okay.
feels everywhere. Early in recovery at a wedding, I accidentally took a sip from a drink that wasn't mine. Was so afraid I was going to have to change my sobriety date. My sponsor pulled me off the ledge and made me understand I didn't do this knowingly. Fair enough, right? Fair enough.
Mhm.
Good
And you
sponsor.
didn't do it willingly.
Yeah, right. I think. So here's I typically don't count my sober time as it's done in the rooms, traditionally anyway. And actually, I'll say
So, Chris.
it's the counting of that time that is why I never went back to the rooms after my last relapse, and because my own shame and all of that went along with it, and it was like not. it was 35 days that I had, which at the time was the most I'd ever gone as an adult without some sort of substance. And I'm 46 years old, 45 at the time. And I'd never gone that long. And the idea of having to go back to zero was so shameful for me that I never went back into the rooms. Worse than that, though, it was another year. It was a year-long relapse. Right. So, and it took me a year to pull my head back out of my ass, or 10 months anyway. So I think that said, I don't count my days. And when I was like a few days off of a year, I started counting my days all of a sudden.
Yeah. How do you think
I was
that,
like, holy shit, right?
how do you think that fear, like if you didn't have that fear, how different I mean, you can't think about like what could have, should have been, but
it's tough to do. And I think at that point I might have just found another resentment, because that's what we do, right? But that was the resentment that I dialed in on, and that's what kept me away from the rooms. Now, the reason I'm not a 12-stepper turns out to be more of a logistic thing than a, some sort of policy on my part or whatever. And I'm fortunate that my recovery for the last 11 months as of today, when I started the podcast, has been,
congratulations.
thank you, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week recovery, right? Because I jumped into this head first, whatever, right? So I've been fortunate that I kind of had my own program going on from 20 different methods and modalities and therapists and psychiatrists that are on the show. And like, I've experienced more recovery in my 15 months or whatever it's been than, most people do in years of it. Right. So I've been lucky that way, but,
so I pulled up Bill SB's comment. Well, William, I know him as Bill. And he says, 33-year alcoholic, drug addicted to everything, coming up on 2 years. Never thought I could get here.
Congratulations.
And I've been in many of the dark rooms. I've been in many of dark rooms with Bill. He is my stepfather's best friend. They grew up together. We used to drink and get high out of our minds together. And I really didn't think he could do it either. And I am so proud of
We're
him.
all proud of you.
And it's
incredible.
It's just insane to me. And he hasn't just gotten sober, he has turned that into a whole lifestyle change.
I love that part,
a lot of us
Brianna.
have to do. It wasn't just he didn't just stop drinking and stop doing drugs. Like, he's realized, he has to take control of everything in his life. And I think that's important for us when we do, get sober, is we do have to make those internal changes as well. And I think that's the most important.
Dude, I can't keep up with these comments, Chuck. I got like 20 comments that just flew in here. Sorry, guys. That we normally don't. I mean, we get a lot, but we don't get this much. But I want to hear from Matt, because Matt, what are you thinking about?
You can tell when he leans back and he wants to say something.
No, just hearing a lot of good stuff, and what I like about this day and age is this did not exist just 5 years ago. This type of community, you couldn't look on the internet and find a voice. And that's what I like about this, is like when somebody steps up, like how Hayley told her story, and you decided you were going to recover out loud, like you've undoubtedly inspired and saved someone's life that can hear your message, because my message isn't for everybody, Chuck's isn't for everybody, Jared and Brianna's isn't for everybody. So
they're not. We're all different.
There has to be this wide array of things that can help, you know what I mean, that can help different people to reach people in a different way, and that's what I love about this. And it's cool when we can all come together, because at the end of the day, it's not us versus each other or my way versus your way. It's, it's us versus the establishment that has made this possible. We're forgetting that if you're in this country right now, unabated fentanyl comes over that border, and it is unchecked without, there's more people die every year. And then you look at how capitalism has literally invaded, and it's taken the doctor to patient relationship, and it's destroyed a lot of trust. And now, whereas back in the day when you heard somebody got a mental health diagnosis, it was something that you took very seriously. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but what I am saying is anybody at any time can get a mental health diagnosis. I could go to a doctor right now and I can come out with 3 scripts for 3 things. I could just say, hey, I get nervous sometimes, and they'll put me on a Zoloft, you know what I mean? And I just think there's an irresponsibility. So I think that that's not the answer. I don't think we're going to prescribe our way out of this. I think conversations and relatability and community is what's going to get us.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
Erasing that shame.
in no way, please don't twist my words and think that I'm saying I'm anti-medication or anything like that. Some people need their meds. I have a friend that's bipolar who, if he misses his bipolar medication, it's a fucking problem, right? And I'm not saying at all, but I'm just saying, like, for myself, I have manipulated doctors since 2006. I've been able. I know how to go in there and get it. I'll walk out with a script of Adderall, script of Gabs. I'll get some sleepers to knock me out. I'll get some benzos. I'll come out with a whole handful of things. I think the last time when I went to treatment, I had 6 different scripts when I was driving out of state for that were all legal for me. I get my drugs from the doctors, you know. So I just have this huge distrust. And if you think about it, 20 years ago, that didn't exist. And we got to ask that question, why? When all these same medications were available, why weren't people in the 80s and 90s like on pills like they are today? And why is it becoming
They were giving
so
lobotomies. No, I'm kidding.
You ain't wrong.
Thank
Not wrong
God
on that one.
that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy to me. It's like when I look around, it just feels like, you know, it just feels like it's only going to get worse. That's what I see. Unfortunately, I feel like it's just going to get worse. More people are going to die.
But
And on that topic, really quick, and then Hayley, just really quick, I just want to point this out, Matt, with you talking about overdosing and the people dying and whatnot. When Jelly Roll did that speech at Congress, and he had 5 minutes, and he said one person is going to overdose and die in 5 minutes off of fentanyl. We've been on this 45 minutes, so think about that. That's 9 people. If you want to think about that, I don't know the exact stats and the exact time, but if you go based on the 1 every 5 minutes, since we've been on here, that's 9 people that have overdosed and have possibly are no longer with us because of this shit.
Yeah, and just let me real quick. I'll add this for sure. It's great that Jelly Roll did that, right? It's great. How fucking stupid is it that had to be what got us talking about it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're the most powerful country with the most powerful military the world has ever seen. You're going to tell me that we can't stop what's happening? It's allowed to happen. They are complicit. They allow this stuff to happen all the way to the highest forms of legislation. I don't know what happened, where it all went wrong, but like, this is allowed to happen. They allow this to happen to us.
Right.
And what I like to tell people is, no one is coming to save us. You have to make this decision yourself, and you have to decide that you're going to be done. Because if not, like Jared had just said, 2 to 3 to 4 people have died just since this has been running from a fentanyl overdose. I'm not going to say a pain prescription overdose. I'm going to say fentanyl overdose, carfentanil or xylazine, whatever's out there now.
I like what David just said. He said 9 lost, 900 survived. 9 lost, 900 saved.
And I want to say, we are, every single person that has dropped a comment about their story and being clean and whatnot, we are so, I mean, even though we're not reading, like, we read your comment, and I'm so proud of every single person that is on here, that is rocking with us, that has survived, that has pulled themselves out of the trenches and just everything, I mean, it's just,
let's go.
It is like,
let's go.
It's amazing to see this.
Hope to the hopeless.
So I will let Hayley talk because I didn't want to cut her off earlier.
But you did.
Well,
but I did.
I don't remember. Fine. I don't remember what I was going to say now.
Well, I want to talk about
that's
something
okay.
too.
We love your energy. My God, do we love your energy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. This is decaffeinated. I'm not even allowed caffeine. It is hope to hopeless.
I love it. I was even making fun of you. It's just like,
no.
Right? I said to your good friend Rachel earlier in comments that if I could just bottle and sell her vibe, right, I'd be just loaded, right? That's Rachel with Addict with a Purpose. Addict with a Purpose, guys. Check her out on her platform. She's
amazing.
Awesome, right?
She's my soul sister.
What were you going to say?
So, like, the terms of some people's relapses, and I've heard people say this, is a relapse, flips your life upside down, turns it to turmoil, stuff like that. I got a DWI 2.5 years ago, something like that. I don't remember. It was September 2 years ago. My kids were in the car. I blew a .28. That's a felony.
Yeah.
I had CPS involved in my life for a year. I got put on drug court for a year. I got put on felony probation for 5 years. I just found out today when I went back to get my permit that because it's my second DWI in less than 25 years, that I will have a conditional license for 5 years and have to have a breathalyzer in my vehicle for 5 years.
Or any vehicles that we own.
Any vehicle that I want to drive has to have a breathalyzer in it.
Okay.
That was one single day for me. I do not
Right.
consider it a relapse, even though it's caused all this chaos and all this extra stuff into my life that I'm going to be dealing for 8-9 years after it happened. That is not a relapse for me because it was one single day.
And I think, we talked about this off in private chat, Brianna. You and I did.
Yeah.
I think
Ow.
one of our systematic failures is this punitive way we look at drugs and alcohol and addiction in general, right? Your kids are in the car, so it's it's a lot different. I'm not gonna say it's a little different. So of course there has to be some consequence to that because we can't have that type of shit happening, right? But
Brianna,
you
I
made a
also
bad
had
choice.
DUI with my kid.
So there you go, sisters in that regard, right?
Now, is it Leandra's all over the U.S.?
I don't know. This happened to me in 2010, and I think it is now. But in New York State, I was the first one to get in trouble. I was the first one to get popped with that. My daughter was in the vehicle with me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
But I got a slap on the wrist. And Brianna has to do all this. Because I didn't have a New York State license. I was from Tennessee. I just had a slap on the wrist, had a $10,000 fine or fee. So I didn't get any of that. They didn't have a breathalyzer back. I mean, they didn't do any of that to me. So what did I learn? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't, I didn't learn anything.
I didn't mean to say like that, but I was just agreeing.
No, I know. Right? I mean, it's horrible. I know. Trust me, I know. But she's 14 now, y'all. She's all right. But the point is, it happened, Brianna. Like a lot of women might need to hear that, because that is like really shameful.
And I had a lot of shame
Like,
around
you
it.
had your kids in the car. I know. It's like that was all the news. Like, I mean, but it happened. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? I left that until, it's gone. It happened. What can I do?
And I wasn't drinking
Nothing.
regularly up to that point. I wasn't drinking after.
That wasn't
It was literally
choice.
one day where I made the choice to drink.
Right.
And I had my kids in the car, and I obviously overdrank. I mean, I blew a 0.28. The legal limit's 0.08.
Yeah, I
Matt.
I did really well in mine. It was like 0.11.
You passed it better than I did.
No, I mean, just think about it though.
Yeah.
I mean, from drinking all day, every day. I mean, so that's not a relapse. I mean, and you know what I mean. I'm just glad that you brought it up because so many women might be able to relate to both of us right there.
No.
Fair enough. Eh? Matt, you were about to jump in with something there. What was that?
Oh, I had a similar thing happen. I actually had CPS involved in my life too. I was actually in Florida. I just gotten out of prison, and I went with my girlfriend, and we went down to visit Florida. My daughter's mother overdosed with her there at the house in Ohio, and she basically died in front of my daughter. And children's services got involved, and my daughter had to stay with the grandma for a little bit. Even though I was in Florida, even though I was not there, had nothing to do with it, was on parole and was not doing any substances whatsoever and passed the drug test that they gave me when I flew back to Ohio, I still had the exact same, I was treated under the same exact way as her mother was. So I lost the rights. I had to go do task 3 times a week, get my color called 3 times a week. I had to have them come do random house. I had to do supervised visits for 4 hours at a time. Like I had to completely go through all the hoops that child support puts you through.
Yep, Matt, I had a similar experience.
Fucking state. I had nothing to do with it. She overdosed on her own, but because I just got out of prison, and it's cool. I jumped through the hoops. I took it as a challenge, and I got through it. So I mean, it's a big deal. If you can get your kids back after child support takes them away, that's a big fucking deal because they really.
Yeah.
So
my
kid's father.
They didn't even bring CPS with me. They didn't do that at all.
My kid's father, grab the other bottle. It's better than that. The smaller one. My kid's father was in the passenger seat when I got my DWI. So he did not have to do drug court, and he did not have to, and I was still in treatment when this happened. So I was already enrolled in treatment, but he did not have to get an evaluation, nothing. But CPS, he was involved. He had to do this, he had to do parenting classes, anger management. He had to do anger management. I didn't. But there was, he was held to pretty much the same regards that I was. I just had a little more because I was the one that was driving. But I think the only thing that really saved me in that situation was the fact that I was in treatment, getting tested regularly. I wasn't pissing dirty. They could see that this was an isolated event. I did not lose custody of my
Right.
kids. They stayed in my
That's
home, and I just did what I had to do. And I
Right.
got off in the year like I was supposed to. He spent longer time, because he thought it was all a joke, but that was,
So what you're saying is it took him longer to get off than you?
he still used it. Yeah, it took him longer to get off a CPS. No, stop, John.
Come on. I
I
went the
was
whole
like-
episode by being totally appropriate. I had to get one.
I
one
was
in.
waiting for who's gonna catch it. I was waiting for who's gonna catch it. I caught it
Waited till I left
immediately.
to do it.
Yeah,
You waited till I left, Chuck.
I said it took Joe longer to get off than I did. I was talking about CPS. It took longer to get off than you.
Fucking Chuck. Oh my god.
But
Jesus
people
Christ.
get so pissed off. I have a couple friends that get really upset with me because anytime there's a bad situation, I always say there's a silver lining to it. Let's find it. Let's find what's good.
Okay.
My DWI may have turned my life upside down, but I have that extra accountability that obviously the universe felt like I needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the second time I faced losing my kids. Do you think I'm going to fuck up again?
No.
Because I
Well,
don't think that third time I'm going to have that chance.
Yeah. No
Right.
kidding, right? No kidding.
And it's that extra accountability. Do I think I would stay sober without getting, being on probation and being on this and being on that? Absolutely. I would still be grinding to stay sober. But I do have that extra accountability, and that is my silver lining, is that I did not lose my kids. None of us died. And now I have accountability for almost the next 10 years to help me stay sober.
That's awesome.
So,
Right.
David
it's
Spencer says better off getting off together.
Oh my gosh. Are you, really, dude? Are you still going to be on this?
No, I just come on.
Matt,
It
just
wasn't
so
me.
you know, this is a common occurrence every Friday. So
Nice.
most of the time, though, he's trying to hit on my girl. So,
that's what he's doing.
I know, but so that's
so
why
different.
I was like, you waited till I walked away before you finally said something. 'Cause normally you do it in front of me.
It's normally happened a couple times. He's being good today,
Bro,
too.
He's
I'm like the
being
least
very
threatening
good.
person on the planet. I'm an entire
You
ocean
are.
away. You don't
You
need to
are.
worry about anything. Yeah, absolutely.
If anything, your voice is gonna get her, dude.
Well, I already sent him $30 for him to read me poems.
I sent him $30.
Yes, you paid
$2.99
for
and
him to read me
$2.99
poems.
a minute. I will read poetry to you. Absolutely.
What a gentleman.
That is amazing.
Right?
But like when we do this
Is that
every
an
week, like
actual service?
oh
I've
Jesus.
thought
Listen,
about
if you'll
it,
pay him
right?
for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We'll do
anything
Much
if
more
you pay
for
him.
money these days, right?
Oh my
But,
god.
anyways,
so good.
getting
First
back
10
on
minutes is
track off
free.
the dirty
Yeah,
shit. Getting back on track off the dirty shit.
It's not dirty. Poetry's
yeah,
wonderful.
anyways.
Sultry.
I am
Sultry.
It looks into
like-
your soul, baby. No.
We have to mute Chuck for a little while. You're in timeout.
anyways, as I was saying, I
Yes,
forgot what
fair.
I was saying.
Yep.
But as I was saying, I thoroughly enjoy when we do this every week because yes, we bring those serious topics and we're bringing things to light, but we're also able to laugh and have fun and show people that we can have fun in recovery and not always have to be so I don't know what.
So, well, Hayley, I have a
Hayley.
question. Matt's going to answer it after.
Thank-
But,
thank you for cutting me off.
sorry.
Anyways,
You said, babe, what? I was just going
no, I was asking you to say the word for me.
wasn't even paying attention to what
See?
you were saying.
Anyways, never mind, guys. Never mind. Fuck me, right?
Hey,
There's
Hayley
a girl on
Gallagher.
there named Hayley. The comment. Yeah.
This is so inspiring. Not sober right
This
now,
is
but
so
maybe one day.
inspiring.
You got this,
Thank you
Hey,
Haley.
for
Haley,
being
stick
here,
around
Haley.
till the end. I got
You
a
got
message
this.
for you at the end of the
Sober,
episode.
Haley.
Yeah.
You will be sober,
Yeah,
Haley.
Haley can contact any one of us.
So what was your
Absolutely.
question for Hayley? And then Matt.
Okay. So, what do you guys think is the biggest fear that the recovery community, and this is perfect that we just read Haley's comment. What do you think the biggest fear people are out there pushing that are keeping people in active addiction? 'Cause obviously, you won't get sober until you want it and stuff like that, but a lot of people are scared, you know.
I
I
think
think
the
it's
way you said that says you have a suggestion of what you think the biggest fear is. I personally don't think there needs to be
I
extremes
know
of
that they're out
fears put
there.
upon you, right?
I know that
Yeah.
they're out there. I don't have a specific one, but that's why, I'm
Nobody
asking
had to
them to
push me to
see.
stay in active addiction. My addict brain was
But,
all
like, I
over
mean,
that shit,
like you said,
right?
you used and you were scared to go back into the fellowship and show your face again and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
was a fear,
yeah, yeah. 100%,
yeah,
100%.
I would say like people on these platforms, that would be a fear that they lose, like Matt was saying, they lose all their trust from their audience. They lose and I guess the fear of like maybe let's see, right now when I say something I'm going to do it right before, there's no telling what Hayley was going to do. Like, if I say I'm showing up, so you're going to lose all the respect that you have from now, like your friends, your family, your children. And for me, my daughter, that is the one person that I will not fail. I can fail everybody else around me. That's okay. But when it comes to my daughter, it that's black and white for me. That would be the biggest fear of my life right there. Something happened and, she's not sober, So I don't know. It's a fear. Like, and people are going to judge you because, oh, you can get out here and talk about it and you're doing so well. It's so easy for you to relapse. Well, I can relapse. And just
Mhm.
fear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're scared to
Love it.
change and withdraw.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely,
right,
Chuck.
Donna.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, Donna. I love you so much, Donna.
Yeah. Change and withdraw.
mean-
That's a good one.
Hey, Donna,
Sound
if you
like me
didn't hear it,
making an
Matt loves you.
apology there, Matt. What's
Well,
going on
because
with
think
that?
of it. Think about it. Like,
Yeah.
dude, why do a lot of us not want to? Why do we keep using? Because we don't want to be
Because we
sick.
don't
We don't
have the
want to
withdrawals. Yeah.
withdraw. It's like, yeah, we use for other reasons, obviously, too. But at the end of the day, like for me, a lot of the times, like I knew I was done a long time ago, but
Mhm.
I was terrified to go through those physical withdrawals. So I just would use just
Yeah.
to make sure that I keep myself level. And
Exactly.
we just sometimes got to go through that. Listen, I'll tell you right now, Matt, and this is something that I've said this before. So I've been on Kratom for the 5 years, and I've been ready to be off of it for like the last 2 years. Like I know that I can go off of it and be done. However, with that being said, I know that I have to taper to a extent because I will have physical withdrawals from it. It's
Right.
for me personally, I'm terrified to go through those withdrawals, which is sometimes in fear of what keeps me on as a maintenance compared to just getting it off. And that's just me being 100% transparent and honest since we're on that topic. So that resonates with me. So like, yeah, like even though I don't find the issue with the kratom because it's helped me, however, the fear of withdrawal still keeps me wanting to just, okay, you know what? All right, I'll take, I need to taper more, need X, this, that, or the third.
Absolutely.
And even too, like I got off of Suboxone, even me being in the house with him and being, this close to him, and I can help him. I can help him through those feelings and those emotions. It's still not enough.
No,
Just
because
like,
it's not based. It's not a rational thing. Well,
yeah,
I guess it is a rational thing, but Matt,
but
you were about to say, sorry,
It's
yeah, about
terrifying thing. It's a terrifying thing. And just that Hayley had touched on it too. It's like it's that, coupled along with, judgment from your peers, your society, your platform, especially all of us in content creation, a lot of us to sit down and, for Jared, you to have to go through something like that, your content's going to be impacted. It's going to be very hard for you to want to, and I'm not, you could be surprised, you could step off of it quite easily, and it could be just like everybody that proponents for it that says it's easy, or,
Right.
you could get my experience, and my experience was not a good one, bud. It lasted
And
a
it's
very
the
long
unknown.
time.
That's my worry.
It wasn't even the physical that was the problem. It's the mental that stuck with you for a long. And it probably took me 6 months to get through that mental to where I'm just now coming into my year of sobriety to where like I'm really now in a space where I really feel comfortable and confident, and the anxiety seems to have dissipated entirely. And I still have some issues, but for the most part, I'm really starting to like feel so much better. And but yeah, to go back to that original question that Brianna had posed, coming out with that, and coming out with that, hey, I fucked up, I need help, and then coming back into that my biggest fear was what my platform was going to think and what my community was going to think. And let me tell you something, when I did that, when I came out and I said that, the support that I got was unparalleled. Mind you, I don't wear it as a badge of honor, but I believe I might be the first like recovery influencer that was in this space. And I don't even like to call myself an influencer. I cringe at that thought. But the first person who made recovery content that relapsed with the platform that actually kind of went somewhere, So like, I was like, oh, this is done. People are gonna fucking come at me with a fucking pitchfork, And it's crazy because now you see there's more people that are struggling in the space. Shanda just came out. Shanda Lynn was a huge
Yeah, I watched her
inspiration.
live.
Oh man, she's amazing.
Yeah,
she really
she is
pioneered the
amazing.
whole thing. I would argue she was probably one of the first women and one of the only women in the space. You know what I mean? That for a long time by herself. Like Shanda did this like 2014, 15, 16 when nobody was doing this. And she's done really well for herself. But it just goes to show that like all the adoration from the public, all the likes, shares, and views will not keep you sober. You know what I mean? If you're not in the correct space. You could be like that, you know what I mean? It could work for you. Work, you know what I mean? Not work in the program could work for me, anyways. Like that, it's just I could do 4 million views. I could do millions of views a week, and it's not gonna. I don't care. If I'm being 100% honest,
that's not gonna keep you sober.
No,
outside of wrestling with ADHD, my successes over the last year are the closest I've come to relapse. Right. It has been like every single time it's like we meet a milestone happens in like with the content or the podcast, or something really good happens. I bring on a new sponsor instantly. It's like, oh, fuck, I kind of want to get high every single time. Right. Every single time.
Because you get that mind shit. It fucks with your brain.
Hell, if I had 1 million followers, I'd have to lock myself in a room for a week. Right. Like,
because you're gonna celebrate. Hey, let's go fucking smoke.
Yeah, but that's the demons of addiction, right? They're like, hey man, right? And my therapist friend said to me, that's your internal self telling you don't deserve these wins. That's that negative self-talk. That's addiction knocking at your door saying you don't deserve this, man. Right. So
that's
let's
the devil,
get you back into it. Yeah, right. Demons of addiction, right? So
I was gonna say
go ahead.
Yeah. No, Matt was saying, because y'all are such big, you do have I think if that would happen, our audience, they're pretty amazing, right? I think they would, just like Matt said, everyone would just pour over you and you out of it, like all the creators we come in contact with, like you can just reach out to any one of them and they're there. So like we do have that, and I hope that our followers know that too. Like there's people, like 100%. We're just human, right? We're humans, like none of this is perfect. Like we're just out here willy-nilly in it.
We talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time. Just because we're here and we do lives and podcasts, like we're human beings. Like we are human, just like you guys. Don't hold us to this high pedestal shit, because I tell you, I'll be the first to fail you. And it's just
I'll be the first to disappoint.
Like
every time. Matt, you made a reel sometime back. I don't know, it was months back anyway, I think. And it was about tell on yourself. If you remember this, I'm sure you probably remember it because you know, right? For me, that was one of those.
He doesn't remember
I don't know. He does not. Look at his face. He does not.
I watch a lot of recovery content, as you can imagine, right? Sure. As we all do, I'm sure. And that was one of the ones that really stuck out for me.
He's still thinking
right? And something.
Call me out, Brianna.
I thought he was frozen. I thought he was frozen.
I remember you're walking in the woods and you said, "Tell on yourself," right?
Oh yes, I remember this one now.
When I was in Toledo.
Yeah. Okay. that to
No, I'm just
me,
kidding. I made that up. I don't know what was wrong.
Fucking shut. Look at that.
You were in the woods.
I was
It
really
wasn't
high.
like a
I was really
it was
high
like
when I
a-
did that. I don't
like
remember.
that?
I don't know.
It was like a gloomy day or something like that. I remember
Fucking
it.
blasted when I said that. I was
Principle.
telling on myself, bitches, right? You know.
Yeah, no. The principle, though, that is something I espouse quite frequently. It's the most important thing I have to do. I don't tell on myself when I get high. I tell on myself when I'm thinking about getting high. I tell on myself when I'm just not even, because there's precursors that lead to the relapse, right? For me, I don't just immediately go get high. There's things that lead up to that. You know what I mean? There's like me getting high, and then there's me thinking about how I could get high, and then there's me getting depressed because my life isn't the way I want it to, or me having resentments towards other people, or just things aren't where they should be. So it's a long trail that leads to that for me. So I tell myself at the beginning of that, and I did that a whole bunch. If you remember, I was posting about it all the time. I was talking about that pretty frequently. Like, hey guys,
Yeah, you
I'm
would.
struggling. I would like to get high right now because I really did. That 6-month mark is a real difficult time for me, because that's a point where like I really start to forget just how grateful I am and how awesome things are and how bad I was when I drug myself to that treatment center begging for them to help me. I forget all that and I get to where I'm at. Life's good as fuck, and I'm like, oh, it'd be great. Oh, it's just not good enough. Maybe I should just go get high about it, just and the
Right,
kratom, dude, this
right,
is popping up everywhere.
right.
So it's like in my face all the time. So
Yeah.
you got to put on that armor. The Bible talks about it.
When I was on my
Right.
sorry.
Dude up.
Go ahead, Matt.
That's right.
When I was on my other platform, I used to do the same thing. I would, if I had those feelings, I would turn the live on and I'd be like, guys, I'm here to tell on myself. This is how I'm feeling. And sometimes you just need people to sit there with you and help you through those emotions. Because, like Justin just said, you relapse long before you pick up the drug.
Absolutely.
And that's
Right.
when you have to be extremely self aware and hold yourself accountable.
It doesn't happen overnight. It
No,
doesn't.
it's not.
It's
You're
a
just
long progress.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can tell you here in Thailand, once since I've been here, I had a little bit of a stretch, and I was public about that. It was a few days of, and what happened was I had bought the scooter for Sonny and I to do our Sonny and the sidecar trips with. Sonny's my dog, if you don't
I
know.
love him.
He's awesome. He makes my heart. He's here at my feet as he always is, right? But the guy that I bought the scooter from had, he spoke English. He was another foreigner from a different country, and he had, when I first got there, I said, so what do you do? And I said, I podcast about addiction recovery. So we got to talking, and he's like, yeah, back home I really want to use, but here I don't want to use. And by 20 minutes later, it was like, okay, I know why you're selling the scooter, right? Like, I know why you're selling the scooter, because you want to get high, right? Like, you just know. I wasn't going to put it on. It's not my place to do that. But then for 3 days, and this all happens in kind of a rough point, and I've had a few out here, just with the feelings of loneliness, which is another great reason for addiction to come banging at your door, right? The demons of addiction. And for the next 3 days, it's like, because that was Christmas, right? I'm like, I know where I can get some. I know where I can go get some meth, right? It was a thing. Nobody would ever know. I'm here in Thailand. Nobody would ever know. And it was like 3 days of just like, until, and Matt, just like you said, until I said it in my vlog for everybody to hear and see. And all of a sudden, all the power that urge had was gone, because I wasn't fighting it anymore. I released it from my body, released it out of my brain. It was out there for the world to see. And it was like, just a feeling of relief that I can only compare to when you do that shot of the drug you're looking for, right? It was just like, whew, this is relief. This was profound, and tell on yourself is so important, right? Just for the craving, right? And then, yeah.
Brianna?
So I wanted to go back. I know I asked, you guys that question. I wanted to give I thought about it while you guys were talking, because I kind of just threw it out there. Something just popped in my head. To me, I think one of the biggest fears comes from choosing the wrong path. We're so used to doing wrong in our entire life. Am I going to do this right? Am I going to be able to get sober and stay sober? Like, why get my hopes up? I know I'm going to fail, so I think it's that self-doubt
Yeah.
that keeps us, in addiction. or even, like relapsing, like Matt, I'm sure you were scared to tell people,
Terrified.
like, what if I'm going to choose the wrong path again? What if I'm going to do this wrong? Obviously, I was doing it wrong. What if I do the wrong thing again? And that's what I think, the self-doubt and, the fear of failure, because we've just
I think
been, like I
that's
said, we've
big.
been doing it wrong our whole life.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Guys, we've been at her for an hour and 15.
Yeah.
We still got a few minutes to go. We got another segment to do as well.
Yeah, I think we
maybe
need to go into.
Yeah, but before we get into daily gratitudes, though, because we're all content creators, Matt, where can we check you out? What's going on in your life? What would you like people to know, and possibly come over and your side of the world? Right?
Matt Keegan Recovery. All socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Those are my three mains. YouTube also. Just find me under Matt Keegan. There's a topic channel. My distributor puts up all my music. We just put a video up for a song called Maybe It's Me. I'm about to release a new song called Comfortable in Chaos. It's going to be a lot different than what you guys are used to. I'm a metalhead. I brought a metal element to this, because I don't really consider
love it.
myself a rapper. I don't really have
I
anything
love
in
it.
common with people who rap. I just kind of bring something, what I got. So yeah, I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. I enjoy listening to it, so hopefully, but yeah,
Awesome.
find me on all those things, and a really awesome collaboration is coming out soon. I can't talk too deeply about it, but you guys will be very excited for it when that drops. So
That excites me most
Go
certainly.
follow Matt.
Here,
I
if you use that
love
bar, hey, you gotta. Right, most that excites
I
me.
am
most
proud of you,
certainly.
Matt. I'm
Hey.
proud of you.
Haley, what about you? What's going on in your content creation world?
In
Where
my
can people find you?
content,
What's going on?
on Hayley Delashmit is my Facebook.
You better spell
a lot
that
of
because
people
it's
call-
weird to spell even when you're looking at it. Go ahead and spell that for us.
Delashmit. DELASHMIT. I am affiliated with Addict with a Purpose, Rachel's platform, and Against the Odds Ministry is Against the Odds Ministry. That's my biggest one. They're together with me. So you can see me on Against the Odds or Addict with a Purpose for the most part, because I do recover through Jesus. My 12 steps are in my life recovery Bible, because I did have 17 minutes in heaven. So, and I'm not gonna ever not give the glory to God for me sitting right here right now, because I wasn't supposed to be right here, and I still am not, because I'm still patiently waiting for my liver transplant. So
You'll get it.
Look at you,
So,
always
but I'm
one-upping
also
everything.
I am new on Instagram and I do have TikTok, but I try to on Facebook, because I'm like old school. My kid's 14 and she's on other things. I'm like, let me just do Facebook, because she says it's for old people. So
I'm old
Yeah.
people. That's where
But I do
80% of
have
my
the
effort
other
goes.
one.
what happened?
So
Go follow Haley. Show her
I
some
was gonna
love.
say, Haley, you were like,
Yeah.
screw those kiddie games, screw that 7 minutes in heaven. I'm gonna spend 17 there.
I did. I really
Beat
showed out
that.
with that one. I really did.
Yeah.
I mean, God took a lot of time on me. I really needed to.
And I'm glad,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're still here with Haley.
Thanks.
Still here with us, Haley.
I'm glad all y'all are here, because y'all are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate y'all asked me to be on here, because I get to
Yeah,
watch
thank
y'all
you.
now. I get to talk to y'all.
Yep. Thanks for
That's
having
like
me
the
as
cool
well.
part. Like, I get to talk to
A lot
y'all.
of fun.
Yeah.
Chuck, let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, there's my website. You can see up on the screen there, a2apodcast.com. That's the Ashes to Awesome podcast. And of course, on socials, it's at Ashes to Awesome. Typically, most of my stuff is on Facebook. Specifically, guys, I do want to mention we have done 3 parts of a 4-part trauma series featuring the Yatra Center here in Thailand. This is a trauma treatment center, and all sorts of different types of trauma are treated there. I am absolutely blessed to have received a scholarship. My life has forever changed as a result of the things that I went through there and the tools that they gave me to move forward on this. But the trauma treatments series is not about the Yatra Center. It's about the things that happen there. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the world or what you're check it out. It is probably the most helpful thing that I have done so far in my recovery, is kind of put that together. We have my weekend co-host, Dr. Lisa, who's a psychiatrist, and Mike Miller, the head clinician at Yatra Center, who between the two of them have a million years of education and lived experience, and I'm so proud of it. The fourth and final part of that trauma episode will be released Sunday, so check it out, guys. Please do
Go check it out. And for us, we are at theblacklistpodcast.com. We're not like A2A, but BLAKLIST, theblacklistpodcast.com.
They spell black weird. Yeah.
We have
We have to be different.
we got a lot of good stuff coming.
Big guests,
Some
big guests happening
big
there.
guests,
Yeah.
like some big
Like
guests.
Matt
not to
Keegan
brag.
big. Like Matt Keegan big.
Listen,
Right.
Matt Keegan, check this out, guys. Matt Keegan was he was the #1 listened episode of 2023 on Spotify.
Oh, look at that. eh?
And
Wow.
and there was a lot of big names on there. And Matt blew everybody out of the water on that. So
You know
that
what's
just
in the
goes
palm
to
of my
show
hand
that
right now? Matt's
follower
computer.
count and all that stuff
Look at
doesn't mean jack. Authenticity
That's right.
and just realness and all that. So
Well,
And I
that's why
think
it's
I
most
push,
listened, right?
even till this day, Matt, I tell people, if you really want to get to know him, go watch our episode.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
content that you create is so much different than sitting down and talking to you and hearing your views on stuff and your story
Your
and everything
actual
like that.
views without sound bites and things to jump
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and all of those, right? Yeah.
You
yeah,
really
yeah.
can express who you are through 30 to 60-second reels. You can just give little tiny snippets, which can be taken in any way that anybody chooses. So you guys
it was
know.
Right.
it was a good conversation. We were 45 minutes in and we didn't even jump into it yet.
I
We were
know.
45 minutes in just talking and having a good time.
I
So
Yeah,
I love
anyways,
a lot of my
those.
go-
friends
I
and
love
family.
those ones.
go to our
Go ahead.
website, go check it out. You'll see Matt's episode on there. You got to go back like a couple months, but you'll see him on there. But
You just hit the search button and hit Matt,
hit
can't you?
the search button and hit Matt Keegan. There you go.
Thank you, Chuck, for telling him how to use the website.
Thank you, Chuck.
Oh, I might
I
know something about his
appreciate
website.
and now we're gonna go into daily gratitudes.
Yes.
So
Starting
if
with
you
the
guys
ladies.
have a daily gratitude or gratitudes in the comments, please drop them. Let us know what you're grateful for, and
Please
I'll
do. Please do.
I will let Chuck facilitate this part.
I was going to say let
All
Hayley go
right.
first.
Yeah, but I'm like,
Well, yeah, that's chivalry's not
Is there
dead.
an
Not
echo?
yet. Yeah, right. So echo. Haley, what you got for some daily gratitudes?
Daily gratitudes. Well, I am blessed that I woke up today. I'm happy that I made it safe and sound in Nashville, so I get to see my daughter for the next few weeks here. Yeah, grateful to be breathing, grateful to have food in my belly. Grateful for all of you people for being here and inviting me on here. So, yeah. And for
Awesome.
God. I'm very grateful to Jesus. He knows that. He's my homeboy. Yeah. I'm very blessed. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Brianna, what you got for gratitudes?
I think today I'm grateful for understanding and honesty.
Mhm.
Just understanding and honesty from everybody that I associate with. And I think that's one of the biggest boundaries that I've put up. So I am grateful. I'm really grateful for that.
That's awesome. Matt, what you got?
Biggest thing in that I'd have to say is just a renewing of my mind, full of the obsession to use. So grateful, big shout out to God, man, for doing that. It's completely. If you guys knew how stupid I used to be 10 years ago, don't scroll back 10 years ago on my Facebook. Whatever you do,
Same.
God has changed me.
I gotta open another window now.
Renewing my mind. It is insanity. It's even crazy. I'm here right now, and I have all this stuff happening. I'm grateful for every second of it, guys.
Awesome.
Amen.
Thank you, Matt. Jared, what you got for gratitudes?
Honestly, I am grateful. I'm just grateful to be alive and to be here. And my mom kind of reminded me earlier. We have a family friend who, her spouse, OD'd in off of fent, and they went to her funeral today. And my mom had texted me and had told me, just
Sorry.
keep, so and so in your prayers. She passed away from fentanyl. We're at her funeral, and I was telling her that this shit is killing everybody, and she just responded to me, and she was just like, "I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that you were here because I always wondered when I was going to lose you to that." And it just reminded me to be I'm alive, I'm breathing, you know. Fentanyl was my thing, my DOC, the blues and all that, and like I just gambled every single day with death. So I'm here and I'm alive and I'm breathing, and my mom helped me, you know, kind of remember like I could be in that on the other side. So I'm grateful that I'm here and I'm living.
All right. Just Incredible says, grateful I am not in the grips, and the desire has long since gone, all for the greater glory and honor for God. Miss Kinney says, I'm grateful that Hayley is
Thank
still
you,
here.
Tater Tot.
Blair says, I'm grateful that I'm sober and for my family.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, guys, if I missed any of yours. There's just so
Donna
many
said a
comments coming
while
in this
ago.
time. Right? Yeah.
Donna, for you, Matt, she said a while ago before we did the daily gratitudes that she was happy that you were still here with us.
Okay.
Awesome. We love Donna. Donna's a moderator for my battling addiction group, and she's huge help.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And we go way back. She was actually one of the first women I met in the rooms back when I came here in 2017. So yeah, Mama Donna.
Okay.
Mama Donna.
That's what she called herself.
Good stuff. Oh, and of course, Mallory, who's grateful for new vision and purpose, starting my journey to a master's in substance abuse counseling. Yay, Mallory. Good for
Absolutely.
you. Good for you.
Awesome.
I see Mallory popping up
Congratulations.
on our platform quite a bit. So
Mallory's been on there for like the last since Earl. Since we did that. Mallory's been there.
Right. Yeah, right. So, and Rise Above says, I'm grateful for my sobriety today. And you know, for myself, I've had this one lately for the last week or so. I've been, you know, every day it's come up is coping mechanisms, and healthier coping mechanisms. Right? It's been things happen. Like I live a privileged life to say the least here, but I still struggle a lot with some things, like a whole lot with some things. And not that long ago, relapse would have been the go-to, and to have some healthy coping mechanisms now to deal with. Also to that would be recovery community. In much the same, like you're going through a rough time and shit just falls into place, right? Out of nowhere, things happen. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful that when I have people back home that are struggling, I can contact any one of this giant recovery community. And I don't just mean mine, I mean yours and yours and yours. All of us together, once we start networking, we can do just about fucking anything. Anywhere in the world. I don't care where you are. Reaching out to any one of the dozen or so content creators that I talk to regularly, and boom, all of a sudden you're tapped into all of that community, right? And it's just crazy. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm also thankful to every single person who continues to like, comment, share, do all of those things down at the bottom, hit the subscribes buttons and all the things that, you know, you got to do. I really do appreciate it. Every time you do any one of these things, you're getting us a little bit closer to living our best lives. Our best lives is to make humble living, spreading the message. The message is this: if you're in active addiction right now, today could be the day. Today could be the day that you start a lifelong journey. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, call into detox, go to a meeting, go to church, do whatever it is you got to do. Just get that journey started, because it is so much better than the alternative. And if you have a loved one who's suffering an addiction right now, you're just taking the time to listen to our conversation. If you just take one more minute out of your day and text that person, let them know they're loved. Use the words,
You are
loved.
that little glimmer of hope just might be the thing that brings them back.